Instead, this ceremony here must be performed through Heather's own actions in the physical world, and this is key, which is referred to by Kabbalists as the level of effects. It matters not that Heather may be manipulated from the shadows in order to perform these necessary actions of the rituals that maybe she doesn't understand, but soon we will look into the reasons why this should be the case and why it's important that she's taking these actions, even if she doesn't realize what she's doing fully. Now, another important aspect of the halo of the sun worth pointing out is its curious resemblance to this goetic circle of evocation found in the same book, Transcendental Magic, Its Doctrine and Ritual by Eliphas Levi. The purpose of such a symbol, of course, is for a certain ritual of black magic, a ritual which involves bringing a god into earthly form in this case. And as in many great stories told visually, the very first thing we are shown is often a gigantic clue to what is really going on. The spinning teacups at Lakeside Amusement Park may very well represent the halo of the sun and the impending ceremony and rituals that are associated with the mysterious symbol in Silent Hill 3. I thought that the highlighted portion in the book describing this ritual was also interesting, and it reads, 3 little circles are described for the sorcerer and his 2 assistants. He and his assistants must have bare feet and covered heads. The skin of the immolated victim must be brought also to the spot. Does that sound familiar? Now, just as there are 4 names around the goetic circle on the right here, the halo of the sun is a similar pattern, bearing the names of Dahlia, Incubus, and Alessa spelled in 2 different ways. And of course, you can infer from the spelling of Alessa in 2 different ways. We would have the splitting of Alessa, since she splits her soul. So it appears that these names in the halo of the sun are spelled out in Old Hungarian script. So someone from Team Silent in charge of creating the halo of the sun, looking through some old occult books for texts or what have you, some old runes, books about runes in Old Hungarian script, kind of just found this and started getting to work. So Alessa's name appearing twice on the halo of the sun is because, of course, it's inferring these two different souls, or the splitting of the soul. The 3 circles within the halo seem to represent the 3 participants in the final ritual of Silent Hill 3. It should be understood that these circles also have significance in other areas as well, which we will cover a little bit later. The one in the lower right is for Alessa in earthly form, meaning Heather. The one on the lower left is for Claudia, and the one at the top represents the God of the Order. This could be analogous to the Holy Trinity in a certain respect. The eye at the top of the center ring of the halo of the sun is reminiscent of the eye of providence, or God's loving grace watching over humanity. Although the Order have seemed to ignore the original creator of this world in their theology, because he created such a terrible world filled with pain and suffering. So that God doesn't really matter to the Order. It's all about their own inducement, or their own propagation of their own idea of God coming into the world, not what God actually is. All 4 names occupy the same ring with the eye, inferring a God born into the physical world. This eye could also represent the sun, since there are 3 zodiac signs which occupy the center ring as well. The inner circle has more Hungarian rune type of characters, and it includes the oval with half ovals on either side, that one that's kind of in the upper right in the inner circle there. that symbol specifically is often used as a goddess symbol in magic. Another important note about the three circles in a triangular layout and the number 3 itself in occult usages is that they universally symbolize the metaphysical or spiritual realm, whereas the number 4 represents the physical realm or the 4 elements. So anytime we see 3 circles, we can be assured that the threefold aspect of existence are being alluded to. And when I say the threefold aspect, I mean the metaphysical elements of our reality, past, present, and future. You could use the Trimurti, you could use the Holy Trinity. There's so many different aspects to use these 3 metaphysical parts for. So this threefold aspect is an integral part of the philosophy and practice of alchemy, of course. And it's something which has been recognized throughout the world and appropriated in some way or another by nearly every ancient wisdom tradition that I know of. And here's a few examples: past, present, and future, soul, spirit, body, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Plato's tripartite of souls, which I talk about in my Legend of Zelda series. In Egypt, it's analogous to Osiris, Horus, and Isis. And the list goes on and on. One could even argue that the 4 other objects in the inner circle, of course, would represent the physical. You could also make that argument. The really tiny characters now at the outer edge of this inner circle it appears to be a mishmash of alchemical and astrological symbols, many of which are related to elements and alchemical operations. So presumably they could be a sequence of specific steps leading up to the final birthing ceremony. Perhaps they serve as a symbolic and sequential map of the order of operations for the events or rituals in Silent Hill 3 that need to be performed. But of course, more research may be needed in this area. I doubt Team Silent went into that much detail, and I think they used a lot of, these information from grimoires and writings from Levi and what have you, in order to put something together that kind of looks a little nefarious and magical, but really, I don't think they went into that much detail. Not to the level of, let's say, the first Silent Hill game. Now, the small top symbol outside of the circle is known as Dagaz or Dag, and it translates into English as Day, the glorious light of the Creator, is sent by the Lord. The symbol opposite this one, on the very bottom, is the alchemical symbol for sublimation, which is to convert a solid substance into a gas. This symbol also resembles the zodiacal sign for Libra.